In a recent video, I shared some tips on installing threaded inserts into the edges of plywood. And in that video, I used a drilling guide that I made to drill holes at perfect 90 degrees to the plywood. But when I showed installing the threaded insert, I just installed it on a bolt and then used a ratchet to ratchet it down in place. And honestly, there's no good way to ensure that I get that started at 90 degrees. So I want to go to the extra mile to create a threaded insert installation jig. So here's the jig that I made, and it took some inspiration from my drilling guide. So it's just a scrap piece of plywood, and I took the scrap to the drill press and drilled a 1/4-inch hole at 90 degrees to my plywood, so it's perfectly straight. Then next I notched out the bottom. That'll provide some clearance for the hardware and threaded insert when I go to install it. And then lastly, I took a spring and installed that on the bolt so it provide downward pressure on the threaded insert as I'm installing it. And then last of all, I installed a 1/4-inch hardboard on the back that I can use as a clamping tab. So I can bring that up here, get that into place. And I always like to get clamping pressure right over the edge of the plywood just to help from wanting to split out as I'm installing it. So as you can see, it keeps it perfectly 90 degrees. The spring's providing the downward pressure. So I can take my ratchet and back out the bolt. So you can see I have a perfectly installed threaded insert using this cute little jig. If you want to build one for yourself, you can find the plans at woodsmith.com.